Everybody, hey, everybody, welcome back to the 10th floor. It's me, Matt.
Hi, everybody. It's Kat. How
How's it
y'all
going?
doing? Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day indeed. I am dressed in all purple. I decorated the room in all purple to celebrate moms because somehow purple and moms go together.
Oh, I do have purple hair a little
Hey,
bit.
there you go. I'm just matching my mama's accent. Her fascinator that she has dyed into her hair. You know, it's not a big flower. It's not something Lucy would wear to the nurse's ball or anything like that. No. Hey, Jeannie. Hi. Hey. We missed everybody in the morning because I'm still adjusting to the new place.
This is what happened, y'all. I'm a truth teller.
Oh my God.
So
You're
I
just gonna.
text Matthew about, I don't know,
Like
5 minutes,
it's like
7 minutes after
9:07 or
calling.
something like that.
9:07, something like that. I text him and I just say, hey. And I woke him up.
Yeah, I was still sleeping. I was asleep. I was asleep, so I was not ready to podcast for Days of Our Lives at 9 a.m. But I'm ready now. I'm here, dressed in all purple. No, I'm not really dressed in all purple. For some reason, my camera has decided that I'm purple. But indeed, I'm actually wearing black and my regular navy blue Drake Hogeston
Hey,
honoring.
you should stand up and see if perhaps Curtis should change that Savoy t-shirt to purple.
What do you think, Curtis? Is it better?
Is it better purple, Curtis?
I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Hey, Jeannie. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Sandra. I gotta say, folks, this new place is extremely hot. My old place had what we call central air. This place does not.
You guys don't have no air there?
We have air, but it's like a wall unit that would totally blow the podcast.
Oh, okay. So it's loud too?
Yeah, and then I would just turn this fan on. I'm sure it's annoying. See,
Huh?
I'm just gonna have to suffer.
I don't hear nothing.
Well, I'm gonna have to suffer, I think. All right. So no, Sandra, you did not miss Days for Dummies. Not at all. No, we didn't do
And
it.
you overslept.
I slept too much.
You
You
also need.
move.
Okay. You know what though? What I recommend for you on Sunday mornings?
What's that?
An alarm.
Usually I have one. I don't know why I didn't do it this time, but whatever. Yes, Cheryl, I moved. Yeah, that's why it looks a little different behind me. You can
Matthew.
just watch the evolution as I settle into this space over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, he just moved. How long? When did you move back?
That
Like
was
two
like
weeks
two
ago?
weeks ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, last time the last podcast I did in the old spot was 2 weeks ago, and that was like moving day. I was just like, no, screw it, I'm gonna podcast.
I know that was a rough day, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, it's also been extremely hot in Los Angeles as well, so you know, I imagine it'll cool off in here as the weather becomes more agreeable.
It was 95 here yesterday.
It's too hot. I don't like it. We're done. We're finished. I'm out. I'm moving to like Alaska.
You ain't going to dig Alaska? I don't even want to visit Alaska.
Is that where Brad's gonna wind up? Has he gone to Alaska? Is that where he's gonna take his $1 million?
I know, right?
And he's gonna go find himself an
Do you really
Alaskan
think?
man.
Do you really think he's going to get $1 million though from Drew?
I think he got $1 million.
Maybe.
I think he fished out some vitamins for old Drew,
Uh huh.
which is actually ketamine. Which I don't know. Is Willow gonna take it? Is this leading into the Willow incapacitation because she ODs on ketamine?
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why he had that vial. I didn't get
I
it.
presumably, and Chad, help us put the pieces together as we are better detectives than the PCPD. But so presume because we didn't find out what it is that Drew asked of Brad to double his $500,000 fee.
Right.
But Drew at the end of the week shows up with this little tiny bottle of vitamins, as he tells Willow.
Yeah. But it looks like ketamine.
It looks exactly like the bottle of ketamine that they had used previously, and that's not an accident. So presumably, if we're putting the dots together, Brad got Ryan. Oh my God, Ryan Lavery. Some
Now, what
some
would be
ketamine.
what is the purpose of showing it to Willow then?
Well, and then he also called it vitamins. I feel as though he might be trying to give it to her. Because why did he do the document where he gets the kids? And as
It's
it
true.
stands right now, Michael is on the quick.
Or he gets
Michael is on the quick road to recovery, so he's going to have to act fast. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Will he slip it into something at the nurse's ball? Ooh, by accident? Somebody gets it by mistake, wonders Sandra. It
well,
is real
that would
close to the nurse's ball. Willow goes up there to perform, and it's just manic. She's sweating all over the place, and then Sasha's like, oh my God, I know this.
Oh, speaking of Sasha, Sasha just tore that girl down. Told her. Or Willow at the end. She didn't even know what to say other than, "I'll get you a different nurse." She didn't even know what to say at the end. I mean, she tore her down. Oh, Willow's going to be. But when it finally comes to light, though, that Sasha's baby
Is Michael's.
is Michael's, not Jason's. Willow's going to come back with a vengeance a little bit, I think.
She might. She'll have some righteous indignation. So what was one of your favorite things that Sasha had to say to Willow? You know, the verbal smackdown. There was no actual, fisticuffs. Nobody got slapped.
No.
But they did get verbally.
Yeah. Can't remember exactly what she said, and I watched it again this morning.
But it was just great. What about you, Chad? Do you remember any particular quote of Sasha's verbal smackdown of Willow that happened this week that you particularly enjoyed? Because I like them fighting together. I think that they were fine enough friends. But when it comes to, like, having stuff to say to one another, ooh, it's so good. It's so good. It makes me think of General Hospital of yesteryear. You know, because we recently, just this week, lost Denise Alexander, who had played Leslie Weber.
Yeah, the majority. Yeah, her name was Weber. The majority of the time on the screen, yes.
So yeah, she played Leslie Weber, and Frank Valentini in his tweets said that she had played that role for 50 years. So Leslie, a classic rival to Monica, right? And it's so interesting because last week we had wondered, oh well, Laura might go visit Leslie. This is an interesting opportunity to explore the passing of Leslie at the same time as the passing of Monica because they were such great rivals for so long. And then the chat was like, I don't know because that could be foreshadowing of real events, and I don't know if that's right. And here we are, folks. I need soap in my mouth. I need to remove my foot from it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that that the two actresses have passed not all that far apart from one another, and that they were such great rivals on screen. Oh my gosh, they were so fun back in the 70s and 80s. They used to, they fought good. They slapped each other several times over the decades.
Many times over the decades. And from my understanding, people who are in the know, in the inner circles out there, knew that Denise was approaching the end of life here over the last couple of weeks. Inside information, friends of friends, all that sort of stuff. You know how news gets out there. So with that known, then that makes me think that it might have influenced some of the writing as well. Why they brought up Leslie? Why, at least I think, Laura's going to go for a visit.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said that you thought that's how they were going to have Jeannie go away for the summer. And well, maybe she'll go away for the summer to settle her mom's affairs.
Possibly. Oh man, that'd be a bummer. I'd rather her go see her on a visit and then also be able to hold her hand as she passes or something.
And Lulu, this should greatly affect Lulu because all those years, the majority of Lulu's childhood, she was raised by her grandma Leslie.
Was
She's
she
not
really?
raised by her parents.
She didn't. Where were they? Just weren't on the show. Luke and Laura weren't on the show.
Oh, Luke wasn't on the show, and Laura was sitting and looking out a window.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't. I never thought about who was taking care of the kids during that time.
Leslie took care of Lulu the majority of her upbringing up until like when she was a child.
Okay, so then we had like lots.
And then Lulu,
Hey, East
Lulu was
Coaster.
back with her parents, and through her teenage years, her mom wasn't all that present then either.
No. So
That's when she got so close with good old
go,
the Sit Monster.
the step monster Tracy. So because the only Leslie I've ever seen on the show is when she showed up at that anniversary episodes within the time we've been podcasting.
Mhm.
So does that mean then in like the late '90s and early 2000s, Leslie would pop in and out for an episode or whatever to
Always very
interact?
short-lived.
But because she was the guardian, so to speak, of Lulu, she did still have a presence, super part time, but she would pop in and out.
Every once in a while, you know what they used to do back then more than anything is, you know how they talk about Grams, but she's never around.
Right. So they'd
It
be
was more
like,
like that,
well, Leslie's really unhappy with me.
you know.
Grandmother Leslie has grounded me. I can't go to the party.
Well, Lulu should be greatly affected, like by greatly affected.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's even named after her. Her real name is
Is
Leslie
Leslie.
Lou.
Leslie
Leslie
Lou.
Lou.
So I looked it up because I'm like, why the hell did Luke name both of his kids Luke? You know, essentially, because I'm like, where did this Lou come from? Is Leslie Luke? Come on, Luke. How egotistical can you be? You got Lucas Lorenzo Jr. or whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leslie Luke. Where did this Lou come from? And I guess it was some code name that he had given Laura at some point while they were on the run.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But also, it's still half of Luke, and so I'm still going to call that ego.
No.
Question
Luke was
asks
never a
Vita.
great dad, but he was never a great dad.
He was the Jason type of dad, right? Like
He was more of a Jason kind of dad, but just a little more fun and a little more, a little more funny, a little more fun, perhaps.
but he was not the role model to aspire
I
to
just
be.
can't imagine Jason ever calling his kids Cowboy and Cupcake.
Well, no, because he doesn't have that kind of personality. But when it comes to the hands-off, detached, I'm going to show up just in the most extreme moments. That's the kind of father that Luke was. But he
Yes,
was
that's
there with love
exactly.
and great advice. And don't do what I did, you stupid
He did
ass.
not worry about you having any money on your lunch card, that's for sure. But if you were going through some hell, he'd be there.
He'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Just look to the hills and say, Luke, I need you. Don't call me Dad.
You know?
I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me feel old. Will they write Denise Alexander's death into the show? I am sure beyond a shadow of a doubt they will. And I'm also pretty sure that Monica and Leslie are going to pass at the same time. It's just too good. I know it's going to be a strange statement to make, but it's too good of an opportunity, given the history of the characters that they were playing, for them to not link their passing together.
Oh, and some old footage of the two of them sparring would be perfect.
Absolutely, so we'll see. We'll see how ultimately it all unfolds. Because I don't know. I'm not back there. I don't know these people. As always, don't come here for the news. I'm just speculating. When Michael killed Claudia, it changed him. And then when Joss killed Cyrus, she stayed the same person. Why? Asks Billy. I don't think that Jocelyn is necessarily the same person. And I don't necessarily think that Michael is all too different now because of the killing of Claudia either.
No, I don't think so either.
So, it might have changed him temporarily as he went through some sort of spiral of depression. But in this case, when it comes to Jocelyn, it seems to be I don't know, an inspiring moment. Not one that has gutted her because she's going to jail and now all these terrible things are happening and oh my God, I'm being punished for bludgeoning somebody over the head. But instead, she's sort of been rewarded for taking the evil of Cyrus away from Port Charles, found herself with a job, and now, as we get deeper and deeper into the Dalton thing, what the hell is it that he's doing? And why is it that the WSB wants him to finish the tech and then take him down?
Well, they're kind of shady themselves.
Yeah, they are.
They've always been kind of
Yeah, they
shady.
are. And as weeks go on, I am more convinced that Emma's working for the DVX.
I think so too.
I think that they are both on mission. And Emma has been for a little while longer. And all of those people who were like, why isn't Emma a secret agent? When she first came on, are going to have to eat their words because she had been the whole time.
And I think there's a chance that Anna actually absolutely knows it.
She's just figured it out.
I think Anna's,
She got a memo.
Anna sees I think Anna sees a lot of herself
Hmm.
and Robert
Yeah.
in that child. And and she at the same time, she's so proud. And at the same time, she's going, oh no.
She actually, she's an expert in the didgeridoo. That's for sure. She can go up there playing the didgeridoo at the nurses' ball with Gio playing the violin right alongside, and it'll be interesting.
I love the two of them, though. I think they're a sweet little couple. I do.
Vita wants to know. Sorry, Vita wants to know what's in the vial that Drew had talked to Willow about. We touched that subject earlier, Vita, before you had joined us. But our theory is it's more ketamine. We'll see how that unfolds.
And the reason why I think it's more ketamine is because it's the same little vial
Just the
thing. You
same
know,
little vial. Yeah.
if they didn't want the audience, us to think of that as ketamine,
They used a different bottle.
container,
Yeah, they would have used something
vial
bigger.
would have been different.
Use something bigger. East Coaster says that Anna is so smart. She probably figured it out. Back to Emma. So I mean, I'm along with East Coaster. I think it would be less. I got a memo from Valentine in jail, and more, more. I know that walk. I know that swagger. I know the way that you're spinning this story about what happened in California. It's totally a cover. Oh, I figured that out. So now you've told me the truth about this animal thing.
I
But
tell you what, Anna Devane is way more intelligent when she's out of that police department.
they're all more intelligent when they're out of the police department, except
And
for
they
Dante.
go to that address, somehow their IQ goes down.
Dante's the only one that's kind of immune to the dumbness. I guess Chase as well. I don't know. Chase isn't dumb necessarily. Like he can oh, I can't figure out a crime. He can figure out a crime. He's just not out there figuring out many crimes. But what he is
Dante's my
lovesick.
favorite cop, though.
He's a good cop. But what he is lovesick for Brooklyn, but in a good way. You know, because like he basically with this whole Lulu situation, he's been presented something that's pretty crunchy, definitely close to his own home because of Dante and everybody that he's been around since moving to Port Charles, and he's Dante's police partner, and that's supposed to be a very close bond.
I think most of the time it is.
Right. So, you know, it's not like we see a bunch of brotherly love between Dante and Chase, but it's supposed to be there, is the whole point. So he's in a tough position too, but he has definitely taken the I'm going to support my wife line of things. And that's nice.
Absolutely.
That's nice. And I'll call it lovesick because I don't have a better thing to call it other than, you know, being a good husband and being loyal. But we don't want good husbands and loyalty in 2025, Ma. We want drama. We want him to tell Dante the truth and then lie to Brooklyn about it.
Well, he when he went to the house and talked to Dante,
He was
you
too
know,
close.
his indignance didn't make any sense to Dante, as it shouldn't.
No, he's like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
Because she's writing about adoption and you want to adopt. I mean, that's a far stretch, partner Chase.
right.
You
Right. I
know?
mean,
Hey, Lee, how's it going? What's with this professor? We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that. It's only a matter of time before we get more and more detail. It's only a matter of time before we find out a little bit more about what's going on with Emma. Maybe she'll even be able to recover the data on that flash drive.
wouldn't that be something?
You know? She'll go to Spinelli. She'll be like, Spinelli, I need you to fix my homework.
That's not a bad
It
idea.
isn't a bad idea. It
That
truly
makes too
isn't.
much sense, though, doesn't it?
I'm with it. I don't know what sort of relationship Emma has with Spinelli, but I would go to him. Excuse me. Jeannie says that every Soaptown police department is Barney Fife, but better,
Exactly.
but better looking.
That's so
Hey,
true.
Vinny from Suds of the Squared Circle Media. He says, "Hey, I just wanted to drop in and tell Mama Cat Happy Mother's Day."
Oh, thank you, Vinny.
Hey, Udak, it's all right that you're late. I totally blew it and missed Days for Dummies entirely, so, you know, nobody's going to be
Yeah.
more late than me.
Yeah, Matthew was just downright absent.
I was. I was. Cheryl says it would be great if it would be awesome if Emma and Jocelyn teamed up, and I really think that might be where we're headed before this whole thing is over.
You want to hear something funny?
What's that?
Vinny and Angela must be on the same, I don't know, track right there. Because he came on here and said Happy Mother's Day, and I got a text from Angela at the same time. Happy Mother's
I
Day.
wonder if they just got off the phone from one another.
It might have.
And if so, thank you for talking about us on the 10th floor together, completely uninspired. We're not there. We're not there to have you talk about us, but clearly you did. You chit-chatted on Mother's Day and mentioned the 10th floor podcast, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. It also makes me want to like have a kid one day. That way somebody will send me like a Happy Father's Day text. And then I can do a podcast with like a little infant in my arm, being like, "Oh, this is little Jericho."
You want to name your baby Jericho? That'd be fine with me. Can I call him Jerry?
No, you call him Coat. Matt, take of cough. Was I coughing? I don't know. Could Dalton be working on something with Sidwell or for Sidwell? Shauna wants to know. Hello, Shauna. Probably. I feel like since he's in like, he had like that mineral dust or something in his briefcase or whatever. Or something. I don't know. There was some sort of something he was doing with some sort of geological stone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a Sidwell
And,
way.
that is definitely, you know, Sidwell's crime is through rare minerals. You know, he's holding
Actually,
microchips hostage.
whatever he can get his little grimy, slimy hands in is where Sidwell wants to be.
Including the docks, even if he loses them immediately.
As long as he can have some, and as long as it's lucrative.
You know what? Yeah, honestly, if I was in Sonny's position, I would sell that man the docks. I would just this is an opportunity for me to be done.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense though. I mean, sure, if he wants to sell them to, yeah, go ahead, sell those.
Sell him to
Not
Sidwell.
not to Sidwell.
Sell him to somebody else.
Sell them to
Well,
somebody
see,
else.
the thing
And
is,
if you are going to sell them to Sidwell, my gosh, Sonny, get on the train with get on the train with
Brad.
with Brad.
Get on out of here with Brad, hand in hand,
Get
arm
on
in
out
arm.
of here with Brad.
Can you
Brad
imagine?
can take his $1 million and get on the train, and you can give $1 million away and get on the train.
You can give him the trick. It's just because they're up on this whole ballot thing and could be eminent domain. I'm not sure that there would be many buyers lined up to take the docks right now. So if you were to sell them to anybody, it would have to be Sidwell, I think.
Wouldn't it be interesting if this cropped back up that Laura is not even eligible for re-election because of the tampering that her grandson did when he was back in the day,
Biologically, 15 years ago.
right?
Reality, 5 years ago.
That was still the first Nicholas. That was still the first Spencer that pulled that shenanigan.
that was a little Bechtel.
It was. It was.
They're rigging the voting machine so Laura won. And the whole question was, did he really even need to do it? Would she have beaten Ned on her own? We never know. We don't know. We never found out. And that's the only reason. We're not going to bring back Nicholas Alexander Chavez to play Spencer. Not to rekindle Sprina, no. But to finally resolve the election tampering plot that was started when Laura was elected. Oh, so many years ago. Laura's out, Boyle's in.
Oh my gosh, isn't he awful?
Jordan will be in the administration trying to run interference. We're getting Olivia Pope / Jordan, all right? We're getting Kerry Washington Jordan, all right? We're getting Fixer Jordan.
I think Jordan will fix it actually, eventually.
Yeah, I think so too. I do.
I do.
And
I don't think Sid will 100% trust her. Why would he?
I don't know if he 100% trusts anybody except for Marco.
He seems to trust Marco, huh?
Yeah, he does. He seems to trust Marco.
I think Marco's got him out of hot water a few times.
I think that he's the reason why Sidwell's never really been charged or had to face any sort of trial or anything for it, because I'm sure we're going to see exactly what it is that Marco is able to do when it comes to spinning the interrogation.
I think he probably is pretty. He's Diane good, isn't he?
He might even be better. He could be threateningly better.
Maybe.
Where they're like, oh my God, we thought that the worst attorney that we had to face was each other. But in fact, even our combined talent is not good enough to face Marco.
Well, it's a good thing he works for them then.
For now.
for now.
For now.
That'll be probably short-lived.
Until they find him uncovering their secrets,
Yeah, they'll find him doing something. Yeah,
snooping,
yeah.
doing something. And we find out my name is
It's not
Eli.
perfect. Marco ain't gonna be perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. He's not, because he's not. He's not. He's not going to be the good guy
Wouldn't
wrapped
have
up
him
in
so
the.
close. Sid Will wouldn't have him so close if he
No.
wasn't a soldier.
I don't think he's also ultimately going to be like, oh, I'm that good guy that got wrapped up in my dad's world because my mommy rejected me. I don't. No, no, no. We're going to find out the depths of his evil, and then maybe Lucas will be able to pull him back to the side of good. This man that I met, the one that I fell in love with, he's who you really are, Marco. Because he's not going to go chase Brad.
No.
I think those final glances was Brad being like, all right, I quit on this, like I saw you talking to the
Yeah,
Marco dude.
I think it was. It was like a,
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, Brad kind of left in a way as, yeah, I'm just as shady as y'all thought. I'm really not any good. Toodles.
I mean, to a degree, he tried and then immediately fell back into old habits.
Exactly.
And not necessarily, I mean, well, because he did make that choice. But Portia didn't make it easy on him either, so he...
Oh, Portia made it terrible on him.
Yeah, so he also felt kind of compelled to, in this environment, always be bad. So I don't know if he's necessarily leaving with the intention of making better choices in a new life, or just having a new life. But he's out of there. That final look that he gave to Lucas was certainly one of, I quit on this, but gosh darn it, Lucas, I'm gonna love you forever. And
I
then,
thought so too. I thought it was a combination that the way you looked at him longingly was like a combination of love, guilt, regret, remorse.
I wish this would have worked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I
then,
really think, Brad had a better chance of because he really did try to turn himself around. He really did, and he took a lot of crap from Portia for a while. Before he even decided he was going to blackmail her.
yes, he tried really
But,
hard to not.
But the reason why he blackmailed her is because she did it first. And he was like, well, I guess I was on the right track. Even the, chief of staff pulls the same shenanigans I do.
Might as well just do it. Might as well just do it myself. And then Lucas had a similarly intense look as those elevator doors were closing. In classic fashion, those elevator doors close on you. You might not be coming back.
Yeah, the 10th floor doors close on you. It's not looking good.
I think the last time we saw Taggart
Oh,
2 was in
what
an
the-
elevator.
Perry Shin, if you ever watch, dang, that suit will look good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and then he even caught Lucas's attention there for a second. Whoa,
Yeah, he did.
look.
Well, he did that on purpose. He was like, you better look at my shiny ass as I'm leaving people.
These gates are not going to hit my ass on the way out, that's for sure. But then Lucas, he had the look too, and his was of it was many things. Good work, Van Hansis. It was shock. Oh my God, I can't believe you're leaving. It was, I never thought you would leave because you've been such a presence in my life for so long that I thought you'd always just kind of be around. It was, I'll always remember you, Brad. You meant so much to me, and our love was real. Like there was so much mixed into it. And just the quality of it, I gotta really commend the two actors. Perry Shin knocked it out of the park. Van Hansis always knocks it out of the park. And for them to be able...
What a great addition to the cast he's been.
He really has been. He's quality in everything. Whether it's a goofy little irreverent scene or something far more important. He always
He's the
delivers.
best. He's only been on the screen a short time, and I'm already pretty confident to say he's the best Lucas I've seen.
I think so too. I know that a lot of people really liked Ryan Carnes. He was the Lucas, not the angry Lucas between this one and Ryan, but the one that had been Lucas for quite some time. The one that was Wiley's dad and had been married to Brad and had been Lucas for a long time. I know a lot of people had a lot of love for him. But
Mm-hmm.
just when it comes to just acting quality, I gotta give the edge to Van Hansis.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Every scene he has with Laura Wright is primo.
It really, I mean, every scene that he has with everybody is primo. You know how we sometimes we'll hang something on an act, like Mara West. She can't have a bad scene because she always brings out the best in everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Van Hansis is somebody that will have a great scene with everybody, not necessarily because he brings the best out of everybody, but because he is always at his best.
Yes. He's doggone good.
I wonder if he has Emmy worthy material that is stronger than the depth of the story that other submissions might have. Because his acting's been very, very, very quality, but the depth and lengths of his stories have not been the same as
No, he
someone else.
hasn't had a storyline where we're just so invested as an audience, you know? But his natural ability to just act and his believability is so off the chart. And it's really his look is kind of, he's not, I don't want to say he's an average Joe, he's not, but he's not soap opera
He doesn't have that
drop
chiseled
down gorgeous
chin
either.
and all that, all that sort. He might have before, because I mean, Rick used to have such angles to his face that have aged
Mhm.
away. I wonder what a young Van Hansis looked. Not that he's old, but a younger Van Hansis looked like, because he came from another soap, right? He was As the World Turns or some nonsense.
Oh, no, I didn't watch anything else
I
that he
think
was
he
on.
did. It wasn't a One Life to Live, I'm pretty sure, but it was something else. A guy, one of the ones that we didn't watch. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm open to being wrong as always.
Mhm.
The previous Lucas actor's defense, Melissa says, "Hello, Melissa. Van has been given more to do in the role of Lucas than others,
Is
in
it
my
Melissa?
opinion."
Is that our old Melissa? Melissa, is that your smart mouth?
Yeah,
Melissa, is that you?
yeah, she hasn't been here smart.
Look, I've been missing your smart mouth,
Yeah,
girl.
she hasn't been here giving us the shade. It's been so hot without Melissa covering us with the shade. Even when falling in love with Brad and having Wiley, Lucas was kind of an attachment to Brad. Not part of the story, but a side piece to support Brad's story or Lucas's story, whatever she meant. But yeah, I mean they've been a duo, they've been a pair, and they've always gravitated around each other to a point where Lucas came back to the show, and so did Brad,
Hmm.
because they had been intrinsically linked. And in previous podcasts, I had said you can't just have one gay, you gotta have two so they can date.
Well, there's kind of no point in a way.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're a gay island. And what does that even mean?
Exactly.
Like, what's the point of having a sexuality at that point if you can't date somebody with it? In any case, so they've been linked together, and this is the split. This is the rupture. I'm sorry to have Perry Shin leave to a degree because he's enjoyable, but also he's like Kathleen Gaddy enjoyable, where you love the character, you really enjoy seeing them, you want to know what they have to say, but their position in the story doesn't support them continuing to be there.
Right.
And it's unfortunate. Everybody loves Liesel, but there's
We
no
haven't seen
there's
her.
no Brit,
We
you know,
haven't seen, well, yeah, we haven't seen Liesel now probably in an over a year,
since pretty much the death of Brit.
pretty
She
much.
popped in and out a little bit after that, but then that was it. So there, we don't because she doesn't have a position in the story. The people that she had been most linked to aren't on the show anymore. She's the one that survived it all. Sure, you can say Maxie and James and all that through Nathan, but
And Nina.
and Nina, but you would have to like continue to use that, and they
Hmm.
didn't. Plus,
Right.
like what? And then you get the question too of where. Well, okay, so she's hanging out with Nina because that's the person that's in her family that's still around.
Hmm.
Nina's doing this thing with Willow. It's very Quartermain centric, all that sort of stuff. What does old what does she do? What does the strudel do
Hmm.
in that story other than turn up the
Right.
heat and make things worse?
And Scotty's not even on the screen right
No,
now either.
no. She'd be the one that decides that she wants to give the ketamine to Drew, but then that takes Portia out of it. Because you got Dr. Liesel able to get her hands on it without Brad. Like, it changes a lot, doesn't it?
Now, you know what? What they could do if they wanted to, but I don't think they will now. It's too late in the game.
Hmm.
They could have, they could have like tried to tap in on old mean Liesel and had her go to Germany and mess Michael up good.
Set him on fire again. Oh goodness. Melissa's been working for Miss Wu. That's where she's
Oh,
been.
has she?
Yeah, she's been. And Miss Wu's had her working, and then Cheryl
And I'm
says,
scared of you then.
but then Cheryl drops the secret that nobody should know because it's a secret. And she says, Melissa, don't mention the strip poker games that we've been working. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Miss Wu has got you.
You belong over there at the gate show then if you're doing that stuff.
Okay, I was hoping that they would bring back Felix, Melissa says, since it's the nurses' ball. Felix and Brad used to have such great chemistry before they went for Lucas and Brad.
They did. They did, but they never like really they danced a lot. They did a lot of dancing around each other, but
They
they
didn't
never
do
like
nothing.
they don't really really.
No, I don't know. I missed that entirely. Felix has always been the singing and dancing nurse for me.
I would be surprised if they brought back Felix. We haven't seen Felix in so long. I don't think they'll bring him back for the nurses' ball. They'll have Amy there.
I think that they'll have Amy. I think we're going to have Deanna. We're going to have Willow. She's going to be out there. Because Willow and Elizabeth, poor nurses, poor Becky Herbst, always has to be in that opening number because she's a nurse.
Yep.
She doesn't have to, I mean, she's never featured. She doesn't ever have a solo. But you can always see poor Becky Herbst in the back in the group ensemble.
Yeah, and she's head of nurses now, so she's going to have to do a look, maybe at least be on the front, right?
I don't want to do this.
Let's talk about Rick for a second.
Yeah.
Because I find it so interesting that he's a bad cad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I find it so interesting that they've decided to give him a Frankenstein scar. That thing is crooked, okay? I tell you what, maybe they need Scandalous Ted from another show to be a cosmetic surgeon for him.
Yeah, he's got to fix it.
Because my gosh, they should have been able to close that up better. Because now he got a Frankenstein scar.
It's
and they need to keep it. And they need to keep it.
That'd be applying makeup every day. I don't know if they have the budget and time for that, but it would be interesting if they did keep it. What if they used it as? What if they used it as like a visual representation of how evil Rick is right now? So it's glowing red. It's just prominent on his forehead, and he's
looks
just
like a upside down bolt of lightning.
It does, like Harry Potter.
Right? Like Harry Potter.
Yeah, he's gonna get a magic wand. He's gonna go to Hogwarts.
It's so prominent.
It's so prominent.
That's why I say you gotta keep the scar.
It's
and hire a better surgeon.
It's a measurement of his evil. So it's big and red right now, and as it fades and heals, he's gonna make more righteous and morally correct choices.
I just like it. It's a Todd Manning film, with a scar.
And then Ava starts like pounding him on the forehead to just open it back up again, so he's evil once more.
Right.
Shauna wants to see Blaze at the nurses' ball.
I think, wouldn't that would be cute for Marco and Blaze to do something at the nurses' ball.
It would be.
Yeah.
I would like it. I want that.
And I wonder if they're just, sometimes GH does this. Are they rewriting history a little bit? Does now Natalia just has two kids? That third one, maybe that was his nickname? Marco's
no,
nickname?
No, Eloy was real. Eloy was not a figment of the family's imagination. No, he's out there. He's just out there doing his thing. He's like that one Trump child or that one Osborne.
And Marco is the oldest, and he's the only child of Sidwell.
I believe that's the case.
With Natalia.
He's the only child of Sidwell at the very moment in time.
Yeah, with Natalia.
We're going to find out that Lucky's actually Sidwell's at some point or something.
He's going to be Lucas Lorenzo Spencer Jr. forever.
Lucky's a good friend to everybody. He's a great actor, says Cheryl, and I agree. He is a great actor.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a little too nice to. I think he's too he should be at least offering better advice to little Christina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Lucky's necessarily been been great with Christina. I don't know. I think he's kind of like trying to stay out of it a little bit.
It's weird that he's not.
Weird though.
Yeah. It's strange that he's not more actively involved in either covering it up or pushing her to say something. Because he's
Yeah, one or
definitely
the
been
other.
sort of
Not.
neutral and has been supporting her and keeping it under wraps. But more in the fact that he just hasn't blown it.
Hmm.
So,
And I don't. Christina and Molly's, you know, truce, I guess you can call it in a way, between the two of them and how they're enjoying each other as sisters again. That's going to be short-lived. When Molly finds out the truth about her crashing the car, not only she can be mad at hell at Christina, but she'll be mad at hell at her mother too.
the whole fracture of the Davis girls once more.
Yes.
I was reflecting on Nancy Legrand and her experience on the show recently. Not that she said anything, I was just thinking about it when I was watching the show. Because I don't think they had mentioned Sam or something, and I had been scrolling Twitter and I found a clip from all three of the old previous actresses and all of that. And
Hmm.
it just must be an interesting experience for Nancy Lee to have had those three actors play her daughters for such an amount of time, then have two of them swapped and one of them let go.
Yeah. Yes.
It must be a wholly new, different General Hospital experience for her.
Yeah, you would think so.
I
Yeah.
would think. I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Because now, when it was the other girls, um, I don't know, they're just with the new actresses, they're just so established women and not girls
Oh
anymore.
yeah, absolutely.
You know?
The
So
Davis
it's very
women,
different.
the
The
Davis
dynamic is
sisters.
different.
Absolutely, totally, 100%, 100%. And what they're up to is different. It's less, you know, I don't know, squealing girls, and more real in-depth things. You know, endometriosis and falling out of windows and losing our shared baby that we are now calling our child. Her name must be Irie Della, Dean. You know, I don't know.
Hmm.
We're just mashing them together at this point. You know, they're just the same kid with just two names. I don't know.
Irina.
Irina. Irina. Lucky and Christina becoming so close is odd. That was a random pairing I never knew I would like so much. What do you think about them kids, Ma? What do you think about them kids this week? What did you think of the bonfire? What did you think of the college party? What did you think of the college group? What did you think of the high school group? What did you think of all of that? Because it was a major portion of this week.
It was. Well, for one thing, I thought GH did pretty good job of showing us a outdoor night event.
I wish they
It didn't
didn't.
look all too cheesy. It wasn't
No,
that bad.
no. I the only thing that I wish was that they didn't call it a bonfire.
Well, that's a college. I think that's supposed to make it really seem like a college thing.
But it wasn't a bonfire at all. It was a campfire.
It was a campfire. I got the impression that there was two fires.
Oh, a big one over there and a little one over here for the
That's the
scenes.
impression I got.
I'm
Yes.
with it. I'm with it. I'm with
I
it. I'm with
kind of
it.
thought of it that way,
Happy
actually.
Mother's Day, Nakia.
Happy Mother's Day,
Happy
everybody.
Mother's Day. I like the party. They've been doing a great job recently when it comes to like using extras.
Hmm.
Like the Savoy was full when Drew was doing the body shots. This party had people in the background hanging out, frat bros walking across camera. Like they utilized it. And folks, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but each one of those actors cost at least $120. Every single one of them. And so when you have seven of them or 10 of them up there, that's, $1,000 a day. And that could be a lot of money for a show like General Hospital. So that's an investment in atmosphere.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
like that.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Um, did think that Danny messed up big time by leaving Rocco.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Messed up big time by leaving Rocco. He should have said, Rocco, he should have just said, he kind of made the kid go. So he
Hmm.
should have just kept on telling him what he was going to do.
Yeah. All right. You're going to come
You
watch us
know?
play volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how Jocelyn completely got left out of this? Okay? She knew those boys were there. She knew they were there before Geo. So when Gio's taking all this heat, Jocelyn's name hasn't even been brought
That's
up
because
one time.
she's an
One of the
excellent
boys did
agent.
say that they saw her.
She's an excellent agent. She just melded right into the crowd. Everybody forgot that she was there.
Hmm.
She
And
had nothing to do with
and
it.
Jocelyn, she's becoming she's really becoming an agent in a way.
Oh yeah.
She really is becoming that because she's old Jocelyn would have pulled those boys aside and say, "You need to effing go home."
You weren't here, neither was I. Great. Okay, moving on.
Exactly.
I've got a flash drive to copy.
But that would have not been her only thing she said. If it was old Jocelyn, I think old Jocelyn would have been a little more of a big sister and said, "You go home.
I agree. I
Go
agree
home,
because of
or
the
else
Jason of it
if
all.
you don't go home on your own, I'm going to call your parents to take you home."
Because of the Jason of it all. Jason's been there for her. Jason gave her a big old hug when Oscar died. Like
Hmm.
they're close. They're close. So
They have been. Yeah, but and Jocelyn, she must feel bad about screwing over Emma. She has screwed over Emma. She has
she
by taking the
has,
flash drive and corrupting it and all that
but
stuff.
she's also protecting her.
She is. She's protecting her. Yes.
So they'll figure it
And
out.
look at all the intel she learned about Dalton from Emma. She didn't know any about that stuff.
No, that's why she's going to be an asset going forward.
And it doesn't look like Brennan even knew that stuff.
No, no. I mean, this is
And
the
I
fresh
don't
wall
understand
investigation.
this does not make sense in all of it. Dalton. Dalton knows who Emma is. Why would she even be in the running?
I was thinking about that as well. Because he would have known, right? They would have identified. She got expelled, so they would have been identified.
He absolutely knows who it was.
Unless they didn't, unless they expelled the kids and then fired the teacher and never told the teacher who it was that got expelled because he was also in the wrong doing this animal testing and lost his job over in the West Coast because of it. That's why he's over here in PCU. So for the same reason as
Well,
Emma, really.
you would even think this, even if he didn't realize that Emma is that girl from the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that she is who she is, and Anna's her grandmother, I'd have said, nope, don't want that one.
I don't know. I don't know if Anne is necessarily a world famous, well known WSB spy, where somebody like Dalton would be like, oh, Anna's your grandma? No, I don't. That's too close to somebody who's going to figure me out. I don't know.
Yeah, but you would think that he would, even if he didn't know, he'd just like, his little spidey sense would go up a little bit and he'd
Maybe.
do a little investigating.
I don't know. We really don't know anything about what it is that's going on. We really
All
don't.
I know is Dalton's going to have a big, big presence because they wouldn't have picked the dude to play him they did if he was just a one and done kind of 2 or 3 week thing.
Well,
He's been around for a while.
but then Sonny also did shoot Jagger on the Quartermain porch.
Yeah.
Jason is like Joss's uncle. It's true, East Coaster. Absolutely. And that's why she would have, if it wasn't for the WSB, been a little more influential in Danny's choices because he's a cousin, sort of.
I do, yeah.
Jason and Lulu are Jocelyn's godparents. Even more reason, LaShawn. Thank you very much. Even more reason.
bad.
Even more reason. But I enjoyed the party. I think that they did a great job with the party. I think that they utilized the party well for all of the characters involved. I think it makes total sense that Trina and Kai weren't there. Obviously, they were doing something else. I
does make sense to Trina.
I even like the detail of Emma showing up with straighter hair, doing the swimming thing, and then for the next several days having the wavy hair. Also, in that same note, they did something similar with that gum. Like she had gum one episode and it persisted into the next episode when she was digging into the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that is a writing decision for Emma or if it's something that the actress is like, what would be fun is if I was in charge of my hair. I just went swimming. It should be frizzy. We just had gum in it. It is the same day. Why would it not still be there right now? I don't know if it's her or them or what, but it's almost purposeful at this point.
Attention to detail.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would be proud of y'all.
It's just Fido sending emails. He's like, I hate doing this show. I miss you all so much. This is what I do with Emma. I'm putting words in his mouth. I'm sure he does not hate doing Beyond the Gates.
I'm sure he doesn't either.
Nikia says, Mother cat, Mother cat. You look beautiful today. I love your hair like that.
Well, thank you. It's what the story is with my hair. I happen to wear it a lot more often natural because it's starting to break off.
Oh, I'm sorry that your hair is starting to break off, Mother.
Yeah, it's starting to break off, especially like right in this region, and that's a bad spot.
Yeah,
Okay.
what was it, Pantene Pro V? That woman would tie her hair to the bar and it would rip the bar right off of the cement housing.
Pantene is a crap product. Sorry.
But I've seen the commercial. She has that long, luxurious hair and she
Yeah.
ties it literally to the bar. And then when she walks away, it rips the bar off.
Well,
Her hair was
that's a
fine.
magical television, isn't it?
It was so strong.
So anyway, thank you. This is my natural, Emma frizzy right out of the shower look.
Yeah, she's got super wavy hair. I do too when it gets long. It's just, it's not quite that. It's not quite that because I'm sure Ma used a brush and maybe
I
some hairspray and then went like this.
I put some curl cream in it.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
in the shower still. I put some curl cream in it.
Well, that's
I'm
what I got to
finding
do then. I got to
I'm
get out of the
finding
shower.
that white girls can use black girl products. I do it all the time, and they're fabulous.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to go into the shower. I'm going to use some curl enhancing cream to see if I can add some more volume to my very long hair that I
You just
hide
need a
under this
haircut,
cap.
sweetheart.
No, I like longer hair. I want to keep it. I want it down to my lower back.
Lordy. Why
The
not?
dreams. The dreams. Is Lulu Spencer's house the one that Carly and Jax had when they conceived Jocelyn? Maybe. There was an interesting shot this week. Thank you for the question, Lishan. There was an interesting shot this week because it was toward the end. It was Thursday or Friday, and Lulu was on the phone or something. It was before Danny showed up to clean the house with Rocco.
Before they were cleaning the house.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
she was on the phone. She was walking across the living room, and then they like paused and like did a shot of the floor for like a second, and then
Because
went
it was
back.
dirty. There was big footprints there.
Oh, I missed the footprints.
There was
Okay,
dirt. It was dirty.
got it.
They
Okay.
they were letting you show. They were showing you just how much Danny and
How much
Rocco
Rocco-
needed to clean
how
that
much they
place.
needed to do. Why is the house so dirty? My God, what happened already? Anyway, I'm distracted.
Yes, Lulu's house has been. I mean, that house has been used over and over again. It's been in the Spencer family forever. It was in the Eckert's house first, I believe. The Eckert house. It's a Spencer house.
It certainly
It's
doesn't look new.
it's no, and that closet underneath the stairs with the corner of it cut off. You know what closet I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's Luke's chamber, torture chamber from childhood. It's very distracting. However, they've dressed it pretty good.
If it's supposed to be the old Spencer house, they have not said so yet.
No,
That doesn't mean that they won't at some point, but as it stands right now, they haven't said so.
it does not make sense. I don't think they should call it the Spencer house, even though most of us do recognize it. I don't think they should call it the Spencer house because it does not make sense. There's no way in the world I would choose a home that I knew my dad was tortured in to live in. I wouldn't go live there.
You're not a soap character, though.
Exactly. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh. I mean, come on. Soap operas are soap operas.
But
Characters sometimes are extremely stupid.
yeah, it's true. And Lulu also didn't have any money, so if that house was just sitting there waiting for Spencer to move in, maybe I would just take it. Because LaShawn wants to know as well, how was Lulu able to buy a house? And the answer to that is the magic of television, the magic of being on a TV show. You know? Like, how do those kids in Glee afford that apartment? TV.
But they didn't give her, but at the same time though, they gave her some nice furnishings and stuff.
Yeah,
But that house
it's old.
is not that great.
No, it's not. It's not because Rocco has to clean
And
it so much.
she did say the previous owners on Friday's show. She did say the previous owners, and I didn't know, and I, because it is such a used set. When they said previous owners, I'm like your grandparents.
Carly and Jax. Sunny? One of Sunny's safe houses? Oh, this is the place where Claudia got clobbered. Got it. Okay. So maybe it was the Alcazars, the Falconeries, the Zacaras, the Quartermains.
Tell you.
Melissa says that she would live with a ghost if it was a nice enough house.
Well, I live with a ghost here, and it's a nice enough house.
Yeah. Of course you do. Of course you do. Who's living in Bobby's house? Nobody.
Bobby had a brownstone. That was Bobby's house. She had a brownstone. She lived in the same house for a long, long time. They stopped using the set.
Yeah.
They didn't have very many scenes where Bobby's interior, Bobby is typically all her scenes the last decade or so of her, on the show. She was typically at the hospital or at Carly's house or the nurse's ball.
It's true. She wasn't at home. She wasn't at home. She was at the hospital most often or at Kelly's. I remember a lot of Kelly's.
Yeah.
Cheryl mentions the Harry Potter room. That would be where Luke was tortured by being thrown into the Harry Potter room under the stairs, the closet under the stairs. If Joss and Jason were so close, why not call him when she killed Cyrus? Because if you remember, Billy, are you Billy Flynn? Are you Billy Warlock? What's his name? John. Jack Brennan was pretty much there. So Jocelyn caps Cyrus, and then 4 seconds later, Brennan is walking into the room going, where, what do we have here? So there was really no big time or opportunity for Jocelyn to grab her phone and call Jason, unless she did that with like, oh gosh, Brennan, plow, I shot him too. Hey, Jason, I just offed 2 guys, I need your help.
Now, she could have called Jason, and he probably would have went up there and swept it, just like Brennan did for her.
Exactly.
He probably would have swept it. Jason's quite good at sweeping crime scenes.
He sure is. But that's not what happened, because Brennan he was right there. He was able to cut and intercede as planned.
Yes, that was his plan, to intercede. He was either going to help her clean it up or rescue her because things went awry.
One of those 2 things, absolutely. It was his big test to see if she would do it.
It was a big test.
And then she did. And he went, well, you're ready. You're broken enough and you are ready.
And they're never going to find Cyrus's body. And everybody stopped looking for it already.
Yeah, well, they're done. It's fine. We moved on. Just like the whole, it's just like the whole Jagger thing. Was it Sunny? I don't know. We can't figure it out with the gun. Moving on. But that's also true to life. There's a lot of cold cases out there.
There's a ton of cold cases out there.
Melissa liked the brownstone era, when everybody lived in a brownstone.
Me too.
I don't remember the brownstone era, but that's okay. Where's Charlotte? Around.
Oh, the only reason they found her is because they could make her a babysitter for Ace.
They need to explain, because Laura's going to be leaving. Kevin's unavailable. They need to figure out who's going to be watching the squirt. So it's going to be Charlotte. No, she's just not in the storyline right now. When it comes to the kids, you're not going to see them unless they're really in the storyline.
And that age group that Charlotte's in right now is kind of the absent era for soap stars, children.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of Danny and Rocco right now because they're giving them something to do. If it wasn't for them crashing the bonfire and Rocco drinking so much he gets into the blood poisoning, which is just the catalyst for Dante to be interacting with Gio in a negative fashion for the big reveal that's happening around the nurse's ball, I am sure.
The nurse's ball is in this month, right? It's in May.
Yeah, I think it's coming up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because Lulu
is going to perform at that thing. Maybe it's a perfect time for that all.
And Lulu,
that's got to come out so fast.
I mean, Lulu is 4 seconds away from figuring out the Geo part.
Oh gosh, yes. Because she's already starting to snoop around to it.
Because she was listening to that conversation between Lois and Dante and Gio and all of them, and being like, this doesn't really make sense that they run such interference. What Gloria and Lois have always ran interference. Why those 2? Why this kid?
Right. And now she's starting to put together a timeline.
And she also had that first piece of information that kind of picked up her attention was the fact that he was born in Los Angeles.
Yes.
which is where she knows like Brooklyn or something, somebody was or something
Hmm.
at the same time. So yeah, so she's trying to put together the time of who was
And
where
then,
and
and then
when.
she found out too when she had the conversation with Ned that there was a cover story.
Yes, yes. Oh, she was on tour with her mother.
Hmm.
Was
Uh-huh.
she? No, no, she was just there growing a baby.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Not only did she tour with her mom, but she even stuck around after her mom wasn't there around anymore and still toured a little bit. Missed
Maybe,
her whole 6 months of her senior year of high school.
maybe when Gio's up there playing, Dante and Brooklyn are going to be watching, and then they'll be overwhelmed with emotion and love as the power of Gio's music has convinced them that he is their son.
Well, his musicality is part of his Quartermainness, right? Eddie Main's his grandpa, come on.
And Brooklyn's his mama.
And Brooklyn's his mama, and he is far more talented than the two of them. I actually, um, I thought Mark Tessner does a great job, I think,
He
of
does.
choosing talent and choosing a look as well. Little Gio kind of looks like Brooklyn a little bit.
He's New
A
York.
little.
He's New York,
Well,
that's for sure. Yeah. Well, and he was cast because he was good, not because they needed him. You know, he didn't fit a role, and so they said, "Hey, Gio, you're going to play Gio. We're going to figure it out. Don't worry."
yeah, perhaps when they hired him, the whole Gio's going to be Brooklyn's son wasn't even thought of yet.
I don't think that they had any idea at all, other than we want to utilize this actor, like truly.
This is what I want to know. Where is the Metroport pool? It is May.
We're getting there. We're getting
That
there, and
pool up change.
maybe the nurses' ball is going to be at the pool, as the big pool opening nurses' ball.
They ought to have yeah, they ought to have. For one thing, I know Prospect spent too much damn money on that pool to only have it up 2 years.
It's been more than 2 years.
Has it been 2 years? Been 3 years?
I think I don't know how long it's been, but I think it's been more than two for sure. Because we have somebody falling into it every year.
We do. We do, huh?
So, where's Olivia? Busy. Non-contracted.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Olivia's absent doesn't make sense right now, but
When
it's
the
all
revelation happens.
you know. Yeah, Olivia should have been around more with the things that have been going on.
I think she was. I think Lisa Lowe is doing something. I don't know if she's not on the show because she was doing something, or she's doing something because she's not on the show right now. But I think she was doing something, some sort of
To me, this week,
thing.
the biggest obvious scenes where you would think Olivia should have been coming through those 10th floor doors going, oh my God, where's Rocco? Oh my God.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. But she wasn't. I guess because we got to focus on the other stuff. We got to focus on the lowest pot. We got to give
Yeah.
Renaissance her goodbye.
Yeah, I don't think Renee's going to be on much longer.
Unless everybody forgives her and she needs to be a grandmother to Gio. I don't know.
That girl always got some special look going on, though. She went on Friday, she had that like blue LeBrour kind of like embossed tracksuit thing on. She had high heel tennis shoes on, and those blue nails were bluing.
They sure
Good.
were. They sure were. Just like yours. Michelle, hello, Michelle. Michelle says that Chris McKenna said that the crew built the pool set overnight, so we should see it soon.
Ooh, see,
Well,
it's
good on
good.
them for building it overnight.
I always enjoy the pool.
And then they stick a garden hose in it and they gotta fill it.
I think like probably the one of the last scenes maybe the last scene they used the pool for last year was for Christina to fall in it.
I think that was the last thing. Yep, she fell in it, and then the year before Ned fell in it.
Yep, honked his noggin.
Oh my goodness. So who's falling into the pool this year, wonders Melissa. We need a good old-fashioned dynasty-style cat fight, and the pool would be a perfect location for that.
Yeah,
Just
it would be.
Sasha and Willow. 2 hands,
Oh,
hair. They both fall in.
Yeah, but will it, nothing can happen to Sasha's baby.
Oh
Oh,
no,
hell
it'll
no,
be,
nothing can happen to Sasha's baby.
she's very pregnant. It'll be post baby.
And, and I'm not sure, is she really pregnant? Is that the baby bump we've all touched over their prospect, or is she pregnant?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't heard anything that she is.
Me
Usually,
either,
you know,
but I haven't tried to find out either.
usually the soap news is like, oh, she's really pregnant, and then a couple of months later, we're like, oh, she's gonna have a girl, and then a couple of months later, one will be like, oh, is she gonna name her child Reagan? Like there would be questions and pictures and birth announcements and sonograms and whatever it is that Sophia Matson says would be covered by the
True.
soap press, and it just hasn't been. So I don't think that it's the case. The pool is a beautiful set piece, says East Coaster, and I agree.
It
I
is.
agree. I agree. I remember Chris McKenna actually talking about the pool. Now that I have been reminded by the chat, so good on them for building it in 24 hours. And he also included in his commentary that he thinks it's funny that people will accept a character coming back from the dead or not being who they really are, but a 4-foot pool is just beyond okay, and is worth severe commentary over the unrealistic nature of the fact that this pool is not actually deeper.
Yeah. I tell you what, the moment when Willow really, really like got starry-eyed for Drew was his interaction with Wiley at that pool.
Oh, he
That
was
was
such
when
a
she
great
was kind of like,
dad.
oh, her eyebrows really perked up for Uncle Drew. And Cameron Matheson, you a big, tall dude, and you make that stupid pool look believable.
He sure does. He sure does. So does Curtis. Curtis does a good job with it too.
Yep,
Hey,
he does.
so I think this week they had the Lulu Laura scene, right, where Lulu was talking to Laura about it and the whole thing, and doesn't it also make it my secret too? Shouldn't I say something? And then Laura's like, "F no, you stupid! Are you dumb? My daughter, who raised you?
Fine, what is wrong with your brain?
I need to have a conversation with Leslie because you're an idiot." Um, That's not what she said. She wasn't that severe, but she definitely was. Give it to Jeannie Francis because she's always wonderful. Because she definitely held the moment of, what I'm about to say is not what you want to hear, and I'm so sorry for saying it, but no, no, this is not your secret to tell at all. So
And it's
shut
not.
up. So shut up. So don't say nothing. So don't say nothing. I liked it. I liked it. I like Jeannie Francis, and I think
I
it left.
tell you, Lulu woke up to get in people's business, didn't she?
Just
She
immediately.
did.
She gets Cyrus killed. She finds out the truth about Geo. Just, ugh. Just as bad as Gabby getting out of jail on Days of Our Lives with a live microphone 5 minutes after. Leslie's actress passed away. Yes, Melissa. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So, when we're done here, which will be pretty soon, back that on up and take a look at the top of this podcast, Clyde Weston style.
We did lose Denise Alexander this week.
Oh, was that a week prior? East Coast or whatever. I'm talking about it now. Who cares? It was good. It was good and it persisted. I also liked Lulu parenting Dante's kids, Rocco and Danny sort of together. She had punished Danny by saying, "Hey, you got to clean this whole thing." Excuse me, Rocco was being punished that way. Danny shows up, and then Lulu's like, "Well, these two kids. Let me listen in on their conversation. Oh, he's saying the right thing. He's saying the right thing. Okay." All right. Oh, well, can't I trust you too? Like, it's just good. It's just good. And then since Alexa Heavens still kind of has just the smallest amount of Southern charm to her, it worked for me. It just did. It really worked for me.
I loved it. I loved it when Danny says to Rocco, "You guys got a back porch too?"
Just got a back porch too. Oh God. So both porches, and then she also added another thing. I want to be able to eat off of it, and I'm like, oh my God, Lulu, you're not going to eat off
And
the
then she
porch.
said they had to clean out the gutters because the previous owner didn't. And that's when I thought, what, your crazy grandparents?
Yeah, exactly. And just the list just kept on growing, and there was no way they were going to get it all done at that time. The Savoy Lounge t-shirt, yes. So, Melissa, I wish that my shirt and my hat were actually genuinely a perfect match for each other. But what you're really seeing is a trick of my camera deciding that my blue hat and my black shirt should both be the same shade of purple.
Yes.
It's the power of television. This is
The
movie
power of
magic.
television.
It's movie magic live right in front of your face. It's like watching something in black and white where it's coded to be green, but it's really actually a brown. But you can't tell because it's black and white. In my case,
And
it's purple.
we tried before we went on the air to like mess with the lighting and make it turn black, and it's just no way it was
And
going
it
to do
didn't
it.
work. It didn't work. So, I'm fashion forward because of computer technology, and I'm very happy for it. But unfortunately, it's also a lie. It's also a lie. Um, yeah. 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 Both those boys acted more mature than Dante, says Michelle, and you're right. You're right. I think that everybody's been doing an excellent job, and obviously they're making Dante react this way due to dramatic tension because we're close to the Geo reveal, so we can bring him down, so we can bring him up, so we can do all of this stuff with Dante's relationship with him.
I thought the most telling thing that Lulu overheard was Lois saying, "You don't even know who he is."
What do you mean? I watched him grow up. I know exactly who he is, Lois.
Yes, a
Yeah.
spoiled brat, protected by you and your mother.
Just last week you called him a good kid. Anyway.
But I like their scene on Friday too, where Dante kind of went to her, and they went to each other, and kind of I'm sorry, overreact. We're family, Bensonhurst forever, yeah.
Bensonhurst, 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 Bensonhurst. That's where we just need to change the setting of the show. We're going to leave Port Charles. We're going to move from the city. We're going to lift a general hospital, all 10 floors in the roof, and the secret basement, and we're going to drop it in Bensonhurst. Everybody will live in a brownstone.
Some years ago, they did have a scene where they were in Bensonhurst,
Yeah?
outdoors.
Were they playing
Sunny was
stickball?
there. No, they found that Franco had tagged up Bensonhurst with his 07 whatever it was.
Oh, CO77X.
Yes.
I imagine that in Bensonhurst they have opened up the fire hydrant so it sprays into the air so all the kids can run underneath it on the hot Bensonhurst, New York day. I imagine that they're out there playing stickball in the street. Don't you ever want to have to go to the bathroom? That sort of stuff. Yeah.
Since you mentioned stickball, I just have to tell you, Matt,
Yeah.
because it was fantastic. I had
All
to
right.
miss it, unfortunately, but I heard all about it. I wish someone had video. Your nephew hit a bomb home run yesterday.
Well, that's because he's 8 times the size of an average 10-year-old.
He's got good eyeball coordination, too.
Well, congratulations to my nephew for hitting a bomb.
He hit a bomb right there in the gap.
I, it's funny because I remember very similar stories of my older brother at the same age playing the same level of baseball and just the extreme joy at the raging home runs that he would constantly hit because he too was twice the size of an average 10-year-old.
Yes. Anyway, it's just awesome.
My brother and my nephew, 15 at 11.
And they actually did an x-ray of his hand. You can actually see what your physical, I don't know what bone it is in your hand, but there's a bone in your hand that when they went to the pediatrician, they said, well, we can kind of see how old he is in his body. When we x-ray his hand, we'll be able to tell. And they came back and they said he was like 14.6 years old.
14.6, but he's still got some growing to do.
But he's only 11.
But he's only 11. Now all I can think of is a musical song for GH in Bensonhurst. In Bensonhurst. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. I can't write songs, but that's Melissa's contribution. Drew and Willow reminds me of
You almost
Shiloh.
sing your Star Trek song, Matt.
No. That was Perfect Strangers. Let's see. Willow's acting just like Nell, says LaShun. Brooklyn better hope that she doesn't get stabbed. Willow is going to slash Brooklyn's throat, and the surgery is going to fix her voice, and so she can sing again.
Wouldn't that be a miracle? Well, I would think if anybody was going to stab anybody right now, maybe Sasha would stab somebody. We should stab them.
I really think that we're going to close out the nurse's ball with one Nurse Willow collapsing on stage after getting a high dose of ketamine that puts her into a coma.
That will be crazy. That'll be crazy. That'll be crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think that he took that? Do you think he has that ketamine because he's going to do something to Willow? Supposed love of his life? Boy, they
Yes.
sure have went a different direction with Mr. Drew Kane, haven't they?
I really hope it's not something as simple as PTSD from getting beat up in jail or something, because he's just so delightfully evil. I don't want it to be that. You know, I want it to just be because he's a dick now.
You don't want it to be because he's Shiloh.
No, I don't want him to pull off the mask and he's Shiloh. I don't want it to be some sort of, well, Kevin's going to hypnotize me PTSD. I don't want it to be a brain tumor or some sort of skull swelling. I just want him to have woken up one day and said, you know what? F these people.
I'm going to lean into my Quartermain side.
I'm going to lean into who I was before all this stuff happened, before I was hit by a car. When I did have $1 million and hid it in a van away from the people who are supposed to have it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how does he even have $1 million to give old Brad right now?
Oh, because he's a Quartermain. He's a rich Quartermain.
I guess his shares are still his shares, huh?
Yeah, he was still around before Edward passed away, and so he gets his Quartermain lot.
Yeah.
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 Danny's,
Everyone's gonna have to chip in a dime. All those Quartermain's gonna have to chip in a little dime of their inheritance because Geo Quartermain.
he will have some shares as well. Danny's acting like his uncle AJ when he was driving drunk, and his dad Jason had the accident, caused him brain damage. Yeah, we're very familiar with Jason
Yes, and
knocking his noggin.
I really think that's Jason. Jason, he's got to be thinking that, oh boy, I have got to be a better father. I've got to be more present because these boys are very reminiscent of me and AJ.
To a degree, but like
One
Jason's,
kind of leading the other into not great ideas.
yes, and as it turns out, Jason's kid is the AJ and not the Jason.
Exactly.
And, I mean, this is the second time that Danny has been involved with alcohol.
Yes, he got in trouble with his mom last summer. Mm-hmm. And she came down on him a hell of a lot harder than Jason has.
Absolutely. So maybe there is a little Quartermain genetic predisposition for interest that Danny is going to have to fight off.
I think I think that Danny is more of a press it, living on the edge, not really thinking about things, but just thinking about the adventure part, and a little bit of an adrenaline junkie like his dad.
Well, maybe more like his mom.
Yeah.
But he's very
And
Quartermain.
a little bit like Uncle AJ.
He's kind of growing more Quartermain as he gets older, isn't he?
Because before Jason knocked his noggin, he was a perfect child.
Wow. Daisy disagrees. Daisy thinks that Rocco is the Jason and Danny is that Rocco is the AJ and Danny's the Jason.
Okay.
Rocco was the one that drank himself dumb. It's true. He almost drank himself to death because he wasn't counting how many lemon drops he was drinking.
Well, we talked about that last week. That punch they were drinking. And then he went and did shots and went and played some beer pong, but with, some real liquor.
He said he was doing shots that tasted like lemon, so I guess they were like, lemon bombs or something.
Yeah. Which is basically just
Straight
lemon
up,
vodka.
yeah, it's just straight up drink. Yeah, no, yeah, he drank way too much. Almost died.
And
He almost died.
He was trying to
Everybody.
be cool, and he was trying to be cool, and he's very naive and led by his nose a little bit.
I just wanted to be cool. I didn't know what to say. I was so out of my element. I just wanted to go to the dumb woodchucks game.
And that's why Danny shouldn't have left him. And what Dante said is right. You know what? Yeah, sort of it is his fault. Sort of. No, he didn't like, cancel the plans of the woodchuck game and then say, hey guys, go now do something stupid. That's not what he did.
But he did cancel the woodchuck game so he could yell at Lulu.
Yes.
AJ was never a thrill seeker. He was just a drinker.
That's true. That's true. He wasn't all that much of a, but yes, he was a drunk.
Well, I mean, if we're just going for hairstyle, hair color alone, Rocco has the darker AJ hair. At least from the Billy Warlock era.
Yeah. No. Billy Warlock and
Sean Kanan could not look
Sean
any
Kanan don't
different.
look nothing
They could
alike.
not look any different. AJ was a weasel. I would agree with that, Cheryl. I think AJ was kind of a weasel. That's a good one. That's a good one, Cheryl.
He was.
Well, on that bright note, let's go. Let's go. Let's get on the elevator. Let's get out of here because you got stuff to do this afternoon. So we got to take a little 15-minute break and then come on back in to talk about Beyond the Gates.
Yeah, we're doing the gates early, you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little break of Reno. Watch us for 12:45 or so, whatever. As we get back on in here talking about Beyond the Gates, let's sneak in Beyond the Gates, get the code, talk about all the crazy shenanigans as we prepare for a new TED coming up next week.
Yeah, because I have a Mother's Day celebration to go to, and I'm should be going to the celebration the time that we start the gates. So we're gonna do the gates early.
Maybe we'll even just make it a little quick Soap Mother's Day special, and we'll just talk about soap moms, especially the ones on Beyond the Gates. Because Anita, she's gonna get her singing friends back here in a minute, Ma.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we should get back on the elevator where we can go where we can
Elevator, back
head over
down,
those
first
gates.
floor, get back into your car, tune your radios to previous episodes of the 10th Floor, which you can find on all your favorite podcasting platforms. If you can't find it on yours, reach out to us on Twitter at 10th Floor GH and I'll send you in the right direction. Like the video if you had a great time, subscribe to the channel if you want some more, share it with your friends, leave a comment, and send us a donation if you want to so we can go to the GH Fan Club event here coming up pretty soon, next couple of 3 months or whatever.
Yep.
And that's it. Go spend some time with your families for a little bit of time and then come on right back here. Goodbye.
Bye. You've been Matt. I've been Kat.
Oh, yeah, all of that. I'm Matt. She's Kat. Happy Mother's Day.